What is up, Frag fam? Corbin here again from Northwest Scent. So today we are going to be doing some first impressions of a new fragrance house to me and to my channel. I've actually never heard of these guys before until a few weeks ago when they reached out to me and they wanted to send me a couple of their fragrances. So that's what we have here today, 2 of them that they sent to me. We'll get more into that after the intro, but real quick, these guys came out in 2016. So they've been making fragrances, perfumes for about 5-ish years now. But again, I've honestly never heard of them, which is part of the reason why I am very excited about this. I love discovering new houses, new fragrances. So this will be pretty awesome. If you guys want to find out about these fragrances, then please stick around. But first, let's roll that intro. Alright guys, welcome back from the intro, and like I already said, we're going to be doing some first impressions of a new fragrance house to me. The name of the fragrance house, and I'll actually show you one of the presentations right here, it is Les Fleurs Du Golfe, although if you read right here it actually says Les Princesses du Golfe. So I think that might be a collection within the house, I'm not entirely sure. I know the name of the house overall is Les Fleurs du Golfe, but all the boxes, at least from the 2 that I've received, have Princess right here instead of Fleurs. So that's kind of interesting. The name of the fragrance right here, this is Night Flower. And then the other one, it's the exact same presentation, of course, just with the name changed. This is Safi Veneer. And I have read into these, I've looked at the notes, I will go over that more as we get to the fragrances, but these both do sound really intriguing to me. And like I said, in general, I read about other fragrances from the house and they all sound pretty unique. Like you get these really interesting note combos, the presentation is on point, so I can definitely get behind them as long as the scent is equally as good. So let's dive into the first impressions. Okay, so we are going to be starting with this one right here, which is Night Flower, and as you can see, I just removed the cellophane between shots. Now the presentation on these is pretty nice. It is kind of a like pull top podium style box, so you get this hardcover and it's 2 pieces, and of course you have your bottle sitting right in here. Now this is my first time actually seeing the bottle. This is kind of like a live reaction, so that wow, it's got a really kind of thick base here. I don't know if you can see that. It is kind of indented here. I do like the bottles when they kind of have like that thicker glass like base to it. It just looks really nice and it adds a little heft to it. So these do have some nice weight. It is 50 milliliters, and as you guys can see, the juice is kind of like this purple color, like this deep rich purple, kind of regal looking. The cap, it's kind of got like this machined grip style to it, or this texture, and it does seem pretty snug. Okay, so it doesn't click into place, but it just slides into place really snugly. So that's the style you get. It does seem sturdy enough to where you can actually hold it by the cap, but you may want to be careful if you end up with one of these because they do not click. And I should say that these are an extrait de parfum. So these are the highest oil concentration you can get in perfumery, usually, you know, about 25% or higher. So they hopefully will have some longevity to them. We'll have to wait and see. Let's dive in and start spraying. Also going over the notes really quick before we actually do the first test spray. So this one has mandarin orange and lychee fruit in the top. You have tonka bean and white musk in the mid, and then it has a base of vanilla. So it's not a super complex note breakdown, but it sounds really nice, really fruity, zesty. It's got some like tonka bean to it, so maybe kind of a powdery or creamy sweetness, maybe a clean musk. It does say it's a white musk, so traditionally, you know, that brings more of a clean vibe to the fragrance rather than like a creamy animalic style. So let's go ahead and do our first test sprays. Here we go. Okay, so the thing that's standing out to me is there is kind of a fruitiness to it, but I'm getting a very kind of candied, crystally sweetness in a way. It's kind of reminding me almost of like cotton candy, but it doesn't strike me as like a true cotton candy note. I don't know what the name of the chemical is that they use to create that, but there are certain fragrances. The one that just pops into my mind is Sundazed from Byredo, and that does have a very realistic kind of cotton candy smell to it. It's really hard to describe because it does, you know, cotton candy is basically just sugar, but there is a unique kind of like this crystally style to it that really does evoke like the smell of cotton candy or how cotton candy tastes. But here I'm kind of getting that same vibe, but it's not quite striking me as a cotton candy note, but very kind of crystally, sugary sweet. There is a fruitiness to it, and the lychee actually is jumping out at me. You see lychee fruit used in things like Parfums de Marly de Lina. It's kind of the standout fruity note in that fragrance. I am getting that here. Even though they are using mandarin orange, you know, it's a citrus, usually brings kind of a zestiness, maybe a little bit of like a sharp bite to the fragrance. You know, usually it is kind of sweet as well. Mandarin orange is like the sweeter style of citrus. I am getting a very, very small touch of kind of this zestiness, but it's not really super citrus forward. I think that vanilla and the tonka bean are definitely working together kind of to create that like sweetness. You know, like I said, it's sugary sweet, very crystal-like. It's not overly powdery. I feel like I'm getting more of that vanilla here rather than the tonka bean, which, like I said, usually it's kind of powdery or maybe a little bit creamy as well. And even though it is, like I said, fruity, sweet, there is like this underlying kind of clean smell to the fragrance. I think that's definitely coming from the white musk, you know, almost like linen or clean laundry in a way, you know, just very clean, smooth. It kind of seems to be like I said, underneath all these notes, all these fruits and these sweeter notes are kind of playing off the top of this like bed of musk. So it is working really nicely. I will say, just here off the paper, it is coming across a little bit simple, which does make sense. You know, there's only 5 notes in the note breakdown, but you know, for a niche fragrance, I would probably hope for a little bit more complexity here. Even though, again, it does smell really nice. As far as like gender or like who this leans towards, I think this seems a little bit more feminine to my nose, just because, you know, it is very fruity, it is very sweet, but it's not floral. You know, usually very sweet, fruity fragrances mixed with like a strong floral presence does kind of lend more towards a feminine side. Of course, like I always say, you can always wear what you want, but I'm just talking about traditionally feminine or traditionally masculine style fragrances. And this one does seem to lean more towards that traditionally feminine side, but I think a male can wear this as well. Again, just because it's kind of missing that floral touch. There's actually nothing floral in here. So just kind of in summary, very fruity, you know, coming from that lychee fruit, a very, very small touch of this zestiness from the mandarin orange, but it is mostly dominated by this sweet fruitiness, mixing with kind of this candied, crystally sugar feel coming from the vanilla and a little bit of that tonka bean touch as well. And there's this clean kind of linen white musk for everything to like play off of that's kind of down underneath. So it does smell really nice, a little bit simple. I'm gonna have to test this one on my skin to see how it works there. On the tester strip, it smells pretty nice, but I would not say it smells amazing. Okay, so we are gonna be moving on to the next fragrance right now, which I'm not gonna show you guys the box just because it's the exact same as the other one, which you already saw. Here, I'll show you the bottle though. Like I said, I've already unboxed it. So this is Safi Veneer, and the main difference here is the cap is gold rather than black, and the juice color, as you can see, it's kind of like this champagne golden color. And one thing I'm noticing looking in here at the juice right now, I don't know if it's in the other one because that juice was a lot darker, but this stuff being very clear, there are particles floating in here, and I don't mean like the natural raw ingredients precipitating out. You know, sometimes with natural fragrances, the ingredients being natural, they precipitate out, kind of form these small like solid particles. Here it looks like there's like fuzz or stuff like that. So that's not a very good look. They should probably, you know, watch their quality control and making sure they're not getting dust and stuff in here. I can definitely see that floating around in here. So hopefully they can work on that. That's just something I noticed. Let's get into actually the scent itself and start spraying. Oh, and before we do that really quick, the note breakdown is bergamot, pineapple, vanilla, sandalwood, and then musk. So it's a very simple note breakdown, just like the other one, 5 notes. This one is focusing more, I would say, on citruses. Again, bergamot and pineapple. Pineapple usually does come across citrusy in a fragrance, and generally actually pineapple is an accord of bergamot and some other kind of synthetic notes as well. So they're not using actual pineapple here. Again, vanilla, that's a common theme here. Let's see how this one goes. Okay, wow, this one is a lot better already, just to my nose. So yeah, I am getting a very, again, this is kind of like a sweet fragrance again, not quite as crystally, sugary, sweet as Night Flower. Again, I said that one kind of came across almost like cotton candy to me in a way, very crystally, you know. This one is sweet, but it's striking me more as like a creamy sweetness, if that makes sense. I'm getting a very kind of creamy, sweet vanilla here, but that's definitely underneath this fruity notes, or these fruity notes at the top. So it's saying there's bergamot and pineapple in here. I'm getting more of the pineapple, and this is a very, actually, I would say a realistic pineapple note. You know, it's kind of got this like ripe juiciness to it. It's like a riper pineapple, but there's still kind of this tartness to it, a little bit, almost like this acidic smell. I can almost see the bergamot as well, but like I said, I'm getting a lot more of this pineapple. Definitely the vanilla as well. And I think part of the reason this vanilla is coming across extra creamy is just because of the sandalwood that's in here as well. And they're saying it's a white sandalwood. So I don't know what white sandalwood is, but you know, of course, like sandalwood generally, it does come across kind of creamy sometimes, or kind of dry and woody. This is definitely more in that like creamy variety. It's working really, really nicely. There is kind of like this fuzziness, this kind of clean fuzziness that's probably coming from the musk. But I'm mostly, again, getting this pineapple and kind of this creamy sweetness. So that basically sums it all up. Again, this is a pretty simple fragrance. I will say the quality here seems pretty high. This does smell quite natural to my nose. Again, I'm getting this very photorealistic pineapple. This almost, to me, smells like like I said, a ripe pineapple. I took a ripe pineapple, I sliced it in half, and then I took like this like vanilla icing, you know, it's kind of sweet and sugary, but it's creamy as well. I kind of drizzled that over it, and you're just getting like this like weird just kind of concoction or aroma that's coming up. And I say weird, but I mean, it smells really unique. It is quite nice actually. And again, even though it's simple, I can't say that I've smelled anything quite like this. So decently unique. It does smell quite high quality. Very pleasant. I do like this one more than Night Flower. As far as like genders, I think this one seems just a little bit more down the middle unisex. Although again, the fruitiness and the sweetness of this one does kind of lend it a little bit more towards like the feminine side. If this is like, you know, a scale of 0 to 10, 10 is super feminine, 0 is super masculine. This one's probably like a 6, maybe a 6.5. And I would say Night Flower is like a 7 or a 7.5. So really, really pleasant. I could actually see myself wearing this. I like the scent, but again, if you guys can see this or not, I don't know if it's gonna show up on camera. There's particles floating in here, which that is not a very good look. So they definitely need to work on that. Other than that, the scents are quite nice, very realistic, very natural smelling. Well, there you guys go. That was my honest first impressions of 2 of these fragrances from the house of Les Fleurs du Golfe. If you guys are interested in them, I will link them down below. They do ship worldwide. I believe international shipping outside of France is about 20 euros. And the fragrances themselves range from what I looked at from about 70 to about 110 US dollars. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, I would really appreciate dropping a like just to show your support. And then that way more people can see my videos on YouTube. Additionally, if you want to write a comment, maybe just let me know your thoughts as well as some new video ideas or topics, that would be great too. And since you're down there doing all that stuff, if you've not already, if you could hit the subscribe button and then the bell notification, that would be amazing. That way you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, that's all I really have for you guys today. So I hope you have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.